All right, listen, here's how to make fuck you money with AI operating. I'm not gonna think of some elaborate hook today because frankly, I've done a lot of work and my brain's kind of fried and now I have to think and sit here and think for you. How can I get this little dopamine junkie to pay attention to the rest of this video? If I just dangle a carrot in front of your face, maybe you'll watch it. I don't want to do that today, so fucking strap in. This will probably be valuable for you if you actually do anything with it, but most of you probably won't do anything with this information. So for the 0.1% of people that will do something with this information, this will be really valuable for you. So let's get into how to make fuck you money with AI operating. Real quick, what is AI operating and what are you not going to be doing? You're not going to be building AI tools for local businesses like roofers, plumbers, real estate agents, HVAC businesses. We're not going to be doing that. We're not going to be competing with thousands of other AI agencies like you see online. Everybody and their mother is a fucking AI agency nowadays. We're not going to do that. We're not going to beg for $2,000 monthly retainers from demanding boomer clients. You have a boomer client paying you $2,000 a month and they think they're paying you a doctor's salary. They're gonna be calling you at 10 p.m. when you're out, you're chilling, you're on a date with a beautiful woman, hopefully, and you got your roofer buddy, Jeffrey, who's like, yo, Ben, I need you to fix these ads. No, that sucks. We're not gonna do that. And we're not gonna get commoditized in the saturated AI arbitrage space. Everyone is selling AI tools and call centers and Filipino AI virtual agent, whatever the fuck else. We're not gonna do that. What we're gonna do instead is get one really solid AI operating client case study. So the way that I'm positioning AI operating is we're taking an industry that's already booming, which is the course seller coaching info product niche. Everybody and their mother is selling coaching and info products. You see it every time you open social media. Most people are only making content because they're selling some kind of information because it's a hell of a business model. People have made tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, and tens of millions of dollars selling information over the past handful of years. Tony Robbins is rich because he sells info. Grant Cardone sells a fuck ton of info. Obviously, he's got real estate too. Iman got rich selling info. All of these people are getting rich selling info, and there's also dozens and dozens of people who sell info that you've probably never heard of or that have a lot smaller coaching programs and a lot smaller audiences that all need somebody to be the operator in their business. And this is a business model that I kind of stumbled into a few years ago. I was running a traditional agency like the one that I just described and what we're not gonna do. And then I realized that everybody who was making the most money was selling coaching. So I just took the skill set that I had there. I started working with people that were selling coaching and it's made me over $2.5 million in the past couple years. So that was before AI. Now AI can do pretty much all of the work for you and the rest of this video is gonna be showing you how. So you need one solid AI operator client case study. You'll never have to worry about acquisition again. And I have a picture of Jon Hamm here from Mad Men because it's a good analogy for this business model. You just need one big win. Before Jon Hamm was on Mad Men, he was in shitty little rom-coms. He was basically broke, living on his friend's couch, and just jumping from job to job, had no real money in his mid-30s. And then he gets on Mad Men and his life completely changes. Now he's fucking Jon Hamm. Like, look at this guy. He looks absolutely sick. So I want to make the same transformation for you. So you need to find one hit. You need to find one banger. Then you're going to be like Jon Hamm and the rest of your career is going to be different after that. You're going to use AI to help you do the work. And then you're going to scale as high as you possibly can with that client. That's the whole three-step blueprint. And before I continue here, the biggest thing in this industry, once you learn the basics, like you can watch my videos, understand how info products work, understand how to write copy and you write a VSL, you can use all these AI tools to do it. Once you get a general understanding and you know how a sales process works and all of that, all you have to do is get the right client. Like, a really good operator with a horrible client will make way less money than an average or an even below average operator with a better client. So once the foundation is built, then it's just a matter of identifying, okay, who do I want to work with? How do I scale them to multiple 6 figures a month so that I can take a 20 to 30% rev share and make multiple 5 figures a month? I've had many clients pay me over $50,000 in a single month from rev shares. I've had a lot of my students inside of my own coaching program have gotten clients that pay them up to 6 figures a month on a rev share. And by the way, before I continue, if you want to check out my coaching program, Artisan Lab, go to the description. Oh, I'm a course seller guru, blah, blah, blah. It's made a lot of people a lot of money, and it'll probably help you out if you want to take this seriously. Anyway, let's continue. So for you to get a generational hit, a generational client, you need to know the type of client to work with. You could waste weeks or months even just working with shitty creators that never scale. I was once in that phase. I would get a client and think like, oh, this is gonna be my banger. This is gonna be my John Hamm Mad Men situation. And then I'd spend a few months like really working with them and just not having the right fit. For whatever reason, the offer wasn't great, or they weren't good at making content, or maybe I was doing something wrong on my end where it just didn't work out. But once I got the right client and I applied the right skill set, the right offer, the right funnel, everything took off. So who is an ideal client? They have a solid organic audience. They're consistently posting educational style content. Obviously, if somebody is just posting entertainment slop or brain rot content, nobody is gonna know, like, and trust them enough to buy a 4-figure or potentially 5-figure coaching program from them. So they have to be in a solidified niche. They have to have a audience and kind of be an expert in their field. They are the Airbnb expert. They're the dating expert. Like, I talked to one of my friends the other day who runs a nearly $500,000 a month agency, kind of similar to this model. And one of his biggest clients has a vending machine business. Basically, he installs vending machines into local businesses like hotels and wherever the fuck else you'd see vending machines. And he teaches people how to do it and make a few grand a month kind of as a side hustle doing it. And he makes a lot of money selling coaching. So obviously, think of these types of creators, the people that are posting about how they found success in a certain business model or overcame a certain common problem, and they've been able to build a solid organic audience just by posting content. Next, they have a specified niche. They're a trader, they're a real estate guy, they're a fitness guy, business coach, whatever. To go a bit further on that, right now, I like AI offers. That's the reason that I'm even calling this AI operating. Obviously, it makes sense because you can use AI to do a lot of the work, but at the end of the day, this is just an info product agency. But just the term AI is really hot right now, and everybody feels this FOMO. Like, you probably clicked on this video because you were like, oh, I want to learn about AI, and my mom told me that AI is really important and I should figure out a way to capitalize on AI, but I just don't know how to. So you just put AI basically in front of anything and people instantly think it's valuable. Am I still in focus? Hopefully. So AI is a big thing right now. Outside of AI, like tangible businesses. Like, people are a bit tired of the typical course sellers, the guys that are talking about, oh, I made all this money with drop shipping or trading. Like, even though I just mentioned that those two niches, you do typically have to have some kind of new spin on it. So like, I know somebody that's crushing with high ticket drop shipping, or if it's like a different type of trading, using algos, using AI, using some type of spin on an existing niche, on an existing common belief, those offers are really good right now. And then as well as the tangible businesses. So the vending machine business guy is a good example, an ATM business, a construction business, a home service business, any of these where like, you can kind of understand it in a 20-second elevator pitch. If you've never heard of the business model before, you know, somebody can either see it, you can show them, okay, I installed this fucking vending machine right here, and then people put money into the vending machine and I get a percentage of that money. Pretty simple. You can explain it to your Aunt Kim, who doesn't know anything about making money online, but she would understand it. That's another good barometer for how well an offer can scale. And then the last piece of an ideal client here is they haven't fully capitalized on their traffic with proper systems. So as I built my own info business, I've been reminded of this. There are so many moving pieces. And for the first 2 years that I was in info, I was just working on the back end. So basically, I was only doing this exact model that I'm teaching you right now. So somebody else is the face of it. Their only job is to make a lot of content. My job is to build the infrastructure to make sure that every person that watches their content and they click on the link and it piques their curiosity, they end up on the landing page. Now it's my job. Once they're on the landing page, everything that happens after that, If they leave, that's on me. So all I had to do was put all of my focus into that. But now that I've experienced running my own info business and not only having to make content like this, but having to manage all of the moving pieces on the back end, even though I know this shit really well because it's all I've been doing for the last few years, I've been reminded how much work it really is. And an info business is great because it's lean, you can scale pretty easily, but there are just so many different hats you have to wear as a business owner. Like, my highest ROI activity is making content. But that doesn't mean that all of the other stuff in the business aren't important. So the sales process needs to be good. I write daily emails to my list. I've been meaning to make a new VSL for 2 months at this point, and I just haven't gotten around to it. There's all of these little systems and automations and small things on the back end that on their own, they aren't that important, but all of these things together are like the foundation of the business. So because I have a lot of experience in this field and I can do all of it on my own, I do so, but still I have a team. And if I hadn't spent the last 2 years being the backbone of multi-6-figure and 7-figure info businesses, I would not be able to do all of this on my own. So I say all that because as you scale, all of these gaps get a bit wider. So you can get to 50 or even 100K a month with pretty lackluster systems. If you just get enough attention on social media and you have a good enough sales process, you can get away with not really sending emails or having kind of a weak VSL or having a pretty crappy sales process and all of these little gaps that you have to be mindful of as you continue to scale. But once you start to get more traffic, those gaps become more expensive and you just start to leak all of this money that you could be making if you're getting tens of thousands of views a month or hundreds of thousands of views per month, and then let's say 5,000 people actually end up on your funnel, and then you just have a very small percentage of the people that end up on the funnel actually watch the VSL, and the people that do watch the VSL, even a smaller percentage of them end up booking a call. But if all of that is optimized, you can increase that percentage by 20, 50, even 100% plus, and that will result in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of more dollars per month. And the goal here is obviously to make more dollars. So this is what you're looking for in a client. They have a solid organic audience, a specified niche, and they haven't fully capitalized on the traffic, meaning they're probably not already working with somebody like me or somebody in my program. There are plenty of creators like this and only gonna be more because now it seems like everybody is coaching coaches on how to build a coaching program. It seems like Iman had kind of started this move and a lot of people copy Iman. So not only is he going to be bringing more and more coaches into the market, but all the people that copy him are also now bringing more coaches into the market. So it's just going to be this weird little pyramid scheme triangle where if you use it correctly and capitalize on it the way I am and the way that I'm showing you, you can make a lot of money. But once you have an idea of a solid client, now you need to look for these 3 situations. Situation number 1 is they're newer to coaching. So this could be somebody that has never launched a coaching program. Maybe they just started posting on social media and they are an actual expert in their field. Let's say my accountant was like, yo, Ben, I want to start making money from coaching. I've built my CPA business to make me a couple $1,000,000 a year. How do I start? What I would tell him is pull out your phone and start making short form content about how you built your accounting business and just everything you've learned in that process. Maybe hop on YouTube and start making content there as well. It depends who you want to attract. Are you selling to accountants or are you selling to everyday people and teaching them how to manage their money better? Or like, what's the goal here? But once you have kind of an idea there, you garner some attention, you get some people that begin to know, like, and trust you because they're like, wow, this guy really seems honest. People have spent time with them and they're like, okay, I trust this person. I would potentially pay to learn more from them. So that's basically how an info product is born. Once you build an audience, you start selling some people. Maybe you sell one-on-one in the beginning or you just sell consulting calls. That's basically the inception of a potential 7-figure business. And then that's when they would come and hire somebody like me or somebody like you if you actually take action on anything in this video. And you would build a more solid foundation and use AI to help you do that. So situation number 2 is an offer optimization opportunity. I know that sounds kind of complex and it's a lot of O's, but basically that just means they're not selling the best offer they could. Maybe they only have a low ticket or a mid ticket offer, but they haven't launched anything high ticket or vice versa. For example, I've worked with plenty of people in the past who were only selling a mid-ticket offer. Or maybe they had a school. When school was like a big thing and Hormozi was running around yapping about school, a lot of people got psyoped into thinking, oh, I'm just gonna do a $100 a month community and I'm gonna get 1 million members and make $100 million. That was really retarded, and it got a lot of people to start building low-ticket monthly schools, which was great for me because then that means they were gonna make less money, and then when they make less money, they need somebody like me to come in and tell them like, hey, you're being an idiot, let's switch to high ticket and charge $5,000 plus, and not only will that make you more money, but it'll attract the customers that you actually want. So they would come to me and then I do that for them, and then they make 5 times the money and I get a percentage of that. So that's a great scenario. If somebody's been married to selling low ticket or mid ticket, most of the time, if you add a high ticket offer, they will be making more money. There are caveats, but that's rare. I wouldn't worry about that right now. And situation number 3 is when they have marketing and system gaps. So they kind of went over this earlier, but because these businesses scale so fast and because there's so many moving pieces, as you scale, it can be hard to keep track of everything. It can be hard to make sure that your video sales letter is good and that your sales process is solid and you're sending emails consistently, you're tracking everything. And if you don't have somebody in that business whose job is just to be the operator, it's kind of impossible to wear every hat. But the good news is if you are that operator, you can use AI to do pretty much everything for you. I have other videos on my channel that'll show you more in depth, like here's exactly how to use AI and what to do. But basically that's who you're looking for as a client. I don't know why I'm repeating myself here, so let's delete that. You should have a really good understanding of the type of client that you want to work with now. And I want to continue to drive this point home. The biggest difference between somebody like me who's made multiple 7 figures in this business model and a struggling copywriter or a sales guy who is pretty competent, you understand how an info business works. The only difference between us is the type of clients that I've worked with and the conviction that I have when I pitch those clients. I'm able to get really solid clients because I just know that I can perform better than they were on their own. And this is kind of a confidence thing that you build up over time, but if you are watching this and you have a solid foundation, maybe you ran a different type of agency in the past, or you have some kind of existing skill set, I promise you that you are just as competent as you need to be to get a really solid info client right now. You just need to get the solid info client. And once you get them, that's when everything will change for you. Like the worst part of starting any service-based business is gonna be the outreach phase. But if you're really meticulous about who you're reaching out to, and I'll show you exactly how to do outreach for this specific niche in a sec. But first, if you just target the right people, it might take you a month to get a client, it might take you 2 months, it might even take you 3 months. And that might suck to hear, but the good news about this model is once you get the good client, you're no longer on the hamster wheel. It's not like when you get an SMMA client and then you're like, oh shit, that's great, but now I need to get another client and they're probably gonna leave next month anyway. It's very different. It's get one banger and you're John Hamm. Who doesn't want to be John Hamm? So now we're gonna get into closing them with AI. I'm gonna zoom in here because I feel like I'm far away from you. So quality outreach will get you quality clients. Everybody is getting pitched. I get dozens of pitches per day. Hey bro, do you need email copywriter? Hey bro, can I be your sales rep? No, the fuck you can't. Every business owner in every niche gets dozens of pitches per day. But one thing that you have to understand is most people are incompetent. And I mean this with kindness. I'm not just trying to be a pretentious asshole and saying this, but genuinely, like, walk around the mall, walk around the airport. Somebody will probably be standing in the middle of a crowded doorway, and other people, instead of realizing that they're standing there blocking it, they'll just like stand there waiting for them to move. That is how dumb most people are. So you just have to be smarter than those people. And the way that you're gonna be smarter than those people is by doing quality outreach. So for example, I have a decent sized audience, and most creators are similar to me in this sense. I see pretty much every pitch that I get, but I don't pay attention to most of them because they all sound the same. They all sound robotic. No one really takes the time to look at me, look at my business, and find, okay, what does Ben actually potentially need from me right now? But a handful of months ago, I got this one pitch from a guy who wanted to work with me on YouTube. And he wanted to do thumbnails and strategy and packaging. And I remember I watched like a 4-minute Loom, it might have been a 10-minute Loom video that he sent me. And I'm not telling you to directly copy this, but just rather the thought process of how he did outreach here. So sent me a longer Loom video, like going through my channel. He had giving me a bunch of video ideas and like just fully showed me that he took the time to critically consider what I could potentially want from him. And I didn't really want any help on YouTube at the time, but last month I brought him on to help me with my short form content. And now he got me as a completely cold pitch stranger. I don't know who this kid is, but he sent me a good cold email and now I'm paying him money. I can't tell you how many other pitches I've gotten for exact services like this, but they were all retarded. Everybody just wants to send as many pitches as they possibly can and take shortcuts, and they think, oh, if I just send 100 shitty pitches a day, I'll get a client. That's not how it works, especially when one client can really change your life like it can in this situation. It makes 100% more sense to spend more time on each outbound message and send quality outbound messages. So the way that you can speed up this process though is by using AI to analyze their situation. I've made other videos about how quickly you can write emails, VSLs, and other pieces of a business by using AI. But to sum it up for you as quickly as I can, feed their content to Claude, ChatGPT, other AI tools so that the AI tool knows who they are and what they talk about in their content. Like for example, you can go under this video. If you click the show more in the description, you can grab the transcript. You can take the transcript, put it in ChatGPT, take all of my videos, put them into ChatGPT, and now ChatGPT basically knows who I am. They know what my offer is. They know everything about my business. You could grab my emails, do the same thing, and then you could say, okay, ChatGPT, use Alex Hormozi's perfect VSL framework to write a VSL for this guy. You take that VSL, you send it to me as a pitch, and just like that, you are doing quality outreach. So create your AI-powered samples, send them out, do funnel mockups. Like all of this shit is a lot easier now. All of the tools are free. The playing field has been leveled. And if you're a winner, you're just gonna win even harder now with AI because this shit is really ridiculously easy. So the next thing here and how to close them using AI is you just have to prove competency. That's why I worked with the guy who sent me a pitch a handful of months ago. It's just because he was different from everybody else that reached out to me. He sent me a sample that I was able to look at and be like, okay, this is actually solid. This kid knows what he's doing. It's not that hard to stand out. And that kind of leads me into the last point here is you have to explain why your system will work better than what they're currently doing. If they are running a mid-ticket funnel or they're running a school and they got convinced to run a school by Hormozi, they think low ticket MRR is the way to go, you have to basically explain to them like, no, you will get the clients that you actually want by charging a higher ticket price point and you will make a lot more money. And typically the way to get somebody to trust you there is to articulate their problems before they tell you their problems. So I'll give you an example. I recently worked with a guy who had a real estate offer, and it was like how to buy multifamily properties and make passive income from real estate. Like he's basically teaching you how to be a real estate investor, and this guy was really rich and he's a bit older. So I see him on social media, and this was over a year ago at this point, but he was only selling like a $40 a month school community. So in my pitch to him, I said, okay, here's why the $40 a month school community isn't working, and here's probably what you're experiencing. You're attracting people that want the world from you, that don't have any capital, and you're not actually able to help anybody because it does require some capital to start investing in real estate. Obviously, you can borrow money from the bank, but at the end of the day, you need to be a competent person. You're not attracting competent people because your offer is $40 a month, and you're also deterring the people who want to pay you more from that because they understand that for $40 a month, they're not really getting anything. They'd much rather spend $10,000 and get more one-on-one access to you, and then you make money, you're more incentivized to actually help them out, and everybody's happy. So I explained this to him, and I actually ended up working with this client, and the reason that he told me later on, he was like, the reason that I went with you is because you were kind of cocky, you're kind of arrogant, not in like a complete braggadocious asshole way, but I directly told him in my pitch, I was like, this is what you're fucking up, this is why you're fucking up, and I used enough logic to kind of help him understand that I knew what I was talking about, so that's why he trusted me to work with me. So this is the part that people get stuck on in pretty much any service-based business, and I get it, outreach sucks, it was never fun. I actually own the domain ihateoutbound.com, but I'm telling you, if you listen to everything that I just said, and you send even 5 to 10 really quality quality pitches per day to the right people at the right time, because there also is an element of luck that goes into it all. You have to find the right type of client at the right time. And like, I'm not gonna bullshit you and tell you that, oh, you just follow this exact system and you'll get a great client within a week or 2 weeks. All you can do basically is stack the odds in your favor that you will get a good client as quickly as humanly possible. And the way to do that is to send as many quality pitches as you can daily for an extended period of time. And it's unreasonable to imagine after 3 months of doing that consistently that you don't have a really good client. It could even happen sooner, but just to be conservative, if you're really unlucky, it shouldn't take you more than 3 months to get a really solid client. And the good part is once you get that client, you should be off the hamster wheel forever. You should just be able to lock in with one client and you scale with them to multi-six figures a month on a bare minimum 20% rev share, and you're making 20, 40, 50, 100K plus from one client. I've seen it happen dozens of times in my coaching program. Go to the description if you want to join and join the people that are actually doing this shit. And I know I'm pitching you hard here, but genuinely, I love this model because it doesn't require you to have to constantly do outreach and stay on the hamster wheel forever. Plus, it allows you to hijack other people's attention. As you know, we live in an attention economy. It is the new currency. And right now, you probably don't have a big audience on social media. It'd be great if you could go and sell courses on your own and just rent a Lambo and just pretend like you're an expert on something. Like, you could go do that, but you're probably not going to be very successful with it. And hopefully you have some morals that would stop you from doing that. But what you can do instead is hijack other people's attention. You can borrow their attention. They have the big audience. You're the operator, the guy behind the scenes that's making shit happen. Like, it's a really cool position to be in. And a lot of these smarter entrepreneurs that I know, and a lot of the people I know that have been in sales or e-com, or they've run a different type of agency over the past couple years, they've all sort of in some way or another transition to this model. And I just think it makes the most sense if you're willing to actually get good at the craft, if you're willing to become a really solid marketer and a really solid operator. This model gives you just about as much leverage as you can possibly have in any business without selling your own offer. And there's downsides to that too. Like, I have to continually make content. I have to manage all of these moving pieces and make sure everybody in the community is happy and all of this other stuff. And I love running my own info business, but there's pros and cons to every business at the end of the day. And what I will say is when I first got to six-figure months with this AI operator model, although it was before AI, so it's actually even easier now, but I had several clients. Most of my clients were my friends. A lot of the clients that I ended up working with were people that I used to look up to or watch on social media. Like, I worked with Sebastian Georgiou and Sebastian Escueda, e-com guys, and I used to watch all of their content, and that was a really cool moment. I worked with Billy McFarland, who was the Fire Festival guy, which is a whole different story, and we didn't end up really making much money there, but I grew up watching online basketball trainers, and I was able to work with and become friends with a bunch of online basketball trainers who I used to learn from on social media. So it's just a lot cooler of a business model, and I know that's like not a great metric to pick the career path that you want to pursue. But one thing that I've really enjoyed about it is you work with people that you actually like. You work with people who become friends. Like, I live in a pet house here in Miami with Mason, who is a former client of my agency. And I'm seeing guys inside my coaching program, Artisan Lab, like start to travel and meet up with their clients and stuff like that. So it's just cool to see. I'm done pitching you here. If you want to work with me, go to the description and click the link to join Artisan Lab. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, share this with your grandma. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.